we've done the reread. Now it's time to check out the 1-star reviews of The Long Walk. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Musson at Dave Musson on Instagram, and this is the place where I talk to you about all things Stephen King. Now this video is part of the spin-off series within a spin-off series. So you'll know if you've been here on the regular over the last year or so that I've started a chronological reread of the works of Stephen King that's been running since 2024. Just completed my reread of The Long Walk. Now, as I said, if you've been here a while, you'll know that when I do those chronological rereads, I read the book and then I go over to Goodreads.com and check out some of the 1-star reviews, mainly because I'm really keen to see what people think who don't have the inherent bias towards Stephen King that I do. Even King books I don't like, I still go into them hoping for the best. So it's always interesting to see people at the complete opposite end of the spectrum to me and see what they think. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm just going to go over to Goodreads.com, pull up some of the 1-star reviews, and we'll see what people have to say, and I'll offer a few comments as to whether I agree or not. And to round things off, I'll drop in one of the 5-star reviews just to give it some balance and make sure it's not a complete Debbie Downer of an episode. Okay, so we're going to do that with The Long Walk in a moment, but first a couple of very quick plugs. Okay, 3 things: my range of Stephen King band shirts, my own collection of short stories, Once More Around the Sun, and the fact that you can become a member of this channel, a constant viewer, and get exclusive access to exclusive content. The links for all of those are in the description. If you can support any or all of them, that would be fantastic. But otherwise, just subscribe to this channel and keep coming back and keep telling your friends. Okay, let's get on with it. Right, don't think I need to explain this anymore, do I, really? We're going over to Goodreads. We're checking out the 1-star reviews of The Long Walk. Let me know what your rating of The Long Walk would be, and let me know what you think of these reviews as well in the comments. But otherwise, let's go. So over on Goodreads, at the time of recording, The Long Walk has an average rating of 4.07 out of 5, based on 205,348 ratings, and there are 14,130 reviews there. I mean, that's pretty impressive. That's one of the higher ranking Stephen King books for sure. Now, when it comes to 1-star reviews, only 1% of all of that ranking and rating is a 1-star one. And there are 2,667 of them. So, ratings, that is. And there are 417 1-star reviews. I'm just going to read you a handful of them. So let's go into them. Melissa Young. I'm just taking from the top rated ones down. You can check these out on Goodreads for yourself. So Melissa Young, I love King, but this is the most disappointing novel I have ever read. I kept waiting for the story to develop beyond the surface story of walking. Nope. I kept waiting for their world to be explained. Nope. I mean, I had a similar criticism that I would have liked that world to be explained some more. I literally threw the book down when I was done. I should have spent the time reading the instruction manual for my DVD player. It would have been just as entertaining yet more useful. Well, disagreed, given that DVDs are basically a dead format now. So, but who's laughing now, Melissa Young? Nerlan Imangalev. The Long Walk has walked for days. Exactly the same amount of time I lost reading this book. And that's literally the entire review. I mean, okay. I mean, I found it to be a very breezy read. I mean, I know I read it over 7 days, but as I mentioned in my review, that was because I was reading other books as well and making notes and stuff. So, maybe you're just a slow reader. I don't know. Charlie. I don't know why I keep trying to read Stephen King books because I hate everyone I read. Okay, stop reading them then. Ashley Fusco. I'm not sure if I read the same book as the majority of people who rated this book. This could be the worst book I've read this year, if not ever. First off, the book was way too long. 100 pages could have been cut and you wouldn't have missed anything. I disagree with that. There are so many characters and you never get to know their stories or why they are participating in the walk. I agree there are a lot of characters. There's 100 characters in the walk. But I think the fact you don't get to know their stories, you just see them die, is one of the more powerful parts of the book. And if you were a competitor in that walk, you wouldn't get to know all of them. Because your mind would be focused on, okay, how am I going to stay alive? So there we go. It was sad, depressing, yep, both good things. And I had to read the ending multiple times, then Google it, and I still don't even understand what happened. Oh, and a dog died. Yes, correct. People walk for no reason, then talk about nothing, and then die. The end. You don't even need to read the book now. Now that line, people walk for no reason, then talk about nothing and die. The end. But yeah, that's the point. I mean, that's life. That is the human existence. Like, the walk is a metaphor for life, surely. And most of our conversations are bullshit. Like this video I'm doing for you now doesn't mean anything really. And then at the end of it, we die. We don't take anything with us. So surely the book does a good job of capturing that. Oh wow, this is a long review from Beast. Okay, so this is a very long review that basically takes King to task, saying that the whole idea for the walk is based on the Long Walk of the Navajo, a real historical event that killed real people, part of the genocide against indigenous people by the American government. He says here, Stephen King has had the clever idea in this book to take inspiration from this historical attempted genocide and write a book about 97 white teenage boys, 2 Hopi boys and 1 black boy participating in a death march voluntarily for fun and profit. I mean, yeah, the language against indigenous people and the black people, I agree with that, is not good. I've never heard anyone have this take that it's entirely based on this historical event, though. So, I mean, that's interesting. But yeah, this is a long review. The dystopia in which this book takes place is cardboard cutout. We know it's dystopia because there is a guy in charge called the Major who is some kind of fascist military leader. I mean, look at the president now. People get squadded, which possibly means they're killed by firing squad, but it's not entirely clear. Yes, I agree, it's not clear. There is a long walk and people flock for miles to watch children get killed in the street. Dystopia. Yeah. Book is pretty wildly homophobic. Yeah, there are lots of, I suppose there are a few gay jokes. While I was reading this book, I texted my friend, this is the horniest book about kids being killed I've ever read. The references to sex were constant. I mean, yes, it's teenage boys. Fairly early on in the book, the protagonist approaches a strange girl and makes out with her and becomes sweatily aroused out of nowhere. While I understand the thesis that sex and death are closely related, I think the execution was ridiculous. Also, I disagree with the thesis, but maybe that's because I'm not a cis-sexual white man. Seems to be a thing with them, maybe because they'll want to murder women so badly. I mean, I would be interested to chat to this Beast to get more about the take on the indigenous stuff and the queer reading of it, for sure. But yeah, very long review. I mean, very well written review, but I don't really know what to make of that. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. And I don't know what to make of that because I don't know how to react to that in the immediate moment here. I think it makes some valid points and stuff that I'd never even considered before. So interesting. Francisco. So 4 stars when I write this, ? One of the 100 best books for teenage readers published between 1966 and 2000, ? This must be a bad practical joke. This book was supposed to be one of King's non-canonical best, but I've found here one of most of his worst writing flaws. A story leading nowhere. Yes, nowhere. The ending doesn't deserve that name. I realised that after having been eating dirt for more than 300 pages. Totally despicable characters. Roundabout dialogue that makes no sense and add nothing to the plot. Honestly, this is crap. Okay, I wouldn't like to be so harsh not after reading 11/22/63, one of the best books I've read this year, maybe ever, but it seems the youngest Stephen King is not my cup of tea. Fair enough. Scott Bowers. At best, this is a bad episode of The Twilight Zone. Okay? Not real. This is the first work by Stephen King I've read, and WTF. It's so unnecessarily sexual. Teenage boys. Like a few pages in, man really commented on Garrity's mum's tips. Yeah, that's weird, but hey. And even creepy male gaze aside, just from a writing perspective, no context is provided to make those scenes fit the flow of the story. 1 second some guy is getting his head shot off and the next Garrity is making out with some girl out of nowhere. I mean, yeah, but I guess that's part of the game, isn't it? The story wasn't interesting enough for me to ignore all of this and keep reading, so needless to say, I did not finish. Stopped after 3 chapters. I was going to give it 2 stars only because the concept is cool, but considering I didn't even finish it, lol, the extra star is undeserved. As an introduction to King, even though it's under his pseudonym, I'm so disappointed. Okay. I mean, 3 chapters, probably not really long enough to give it such a lengthy review for, but hey, what do I know? And last one we're going to pick out here. From Samantha, dystopian fiction. 100 teenage boys enter a film competition where all they have to do is walk, but if they fall behind 4 miles an hour or stop, they get a warning. After 3 warnings, they get their losing ticket, a gunshot to the head, and there can only be one winner. Thought this would be a good book to read after the Hunger Games, but King is so long-winded. 500 pages of teenage boys walking is more brutal than their inevitable deaths. 500 pages? I mean, that's 200 pages more than the book. So I'm curious, I want to read that version. Okay, to round things off, let's go and find a 5-star review. So there are 80,924 5-star ratings of The Long Walk on Goodreads, which is 39% of the overall one, and 4,459 5-star reviews. Let's have a look at the top rated 5-star review. It is a long one, so I would recommend you going to read it, but let's pick out some. This is by Kay. If this book does not make you feel physical pain, I don't know what will. This isn't a book about killer clowns or haunted hotels. It's not a Hunger Games type of book despite the game show element of The Long Walk, nor is it a world attached to any tower, dark or not. This book is in your face and physical while simultaneously never losing that dreamy, philosophic quality of existential fiction. Yeah, I think that sums it up brilliantly. I love this book, but it's really hard to communicate what I think it's trying to relate. As I'm writing this review, I'm desperately trying to organise my jumbled thoughts. And then there's quite a lengthy review here. 5 stars and highly recommended. This book is something that will always remain in my mind. Not only was the writing engaging and visceral, but it struck a chord deep within me. Some people may not enjoy the book. It's raw, painful and depressing. But on the other hand, it challenges, breaks and strips bare the human soul, and ultimately the sympathy such an act invokes is an intense experience. Yes, absolutely. Like I said at the start, let me know what your rating of The Long Walk is, and what did you think of these reviews? Drop your opinions in the comments. Okay, there we go. The 1-star ratings of The Long Walk done. That means we are officially done on the reread of The Long Walk. And we'll be going on to my all-time favourite next, The Dead Zone. And then we will be done with the 70s when it comes to this chronological reread, which is all very exciting. Don't forget to check out the links to become a member of this channel, to my Stephen King band t-shirts, and also my own collection of short stories, Once More Around the Sun. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and do come back soon. Take care. Bye-bye.